real estate. There's $10 trillion worth of gold in there, 1 trillion in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is going to flip gold, and it's going to subsume the entire gold market cap. Then it's going to subsume negative yielding sovereign debt and other monetary indexes until it grows to $100 trillion. Once it gets to 10 trillion, its volatility will be dramatically less. And as it marches toward 100 trillion, you're going to see the growth rates fall, the volatility fall, and it's going to be a stabilizing influence in the entire financial system of the 21st century.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap gets you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.io. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the largest crypto channel in all the interwebs. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in cryptocurrency. If you like money in crypto, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, guys, if you enjoy videos like the one we're going to do today, where I react to interviews from maybe influencers or big Bitcoin people, make sure to smash that like button and let us know down in the comments if you like this kind of video. Michael Saylor recently said he believes Bitcoin can go to $100 trillion in market cap. So I decided to watch the interview for myself the first time through to see what I thought about it and give you guys my reactions.
Michael, I read a really interesting piece yesterday, just in terms of how we might be looking at this a little bit wrong. Those of us who follow stocks and know about reversions to the mean.
You think?
That this is different because
it's more like reversions to the meme now.
The mean that you're going to be reverting to is constantly growing. It's happening as all of these new companies, new investors are kind of buying into that. So
it's weird. We've been telling you that for years.
The line is one that's moving pretty sharply higher. You agree with that theory?
The most important thing to understand about Bitcoin is a bank in
Michael Saylor has a much higher pitched voice than I remember.
Cyberspace for people that don't have the ability to run their own hedge fund. It's not a stock. It's an asset class.
Thank you. I get so tired of hearing people that are new into crypto. And look, I understand there's a learning process, but so many people call it a stock. This is not stock. This is something totally different. It's an asset class, like he's saying. And when your friends call Bitcoin a stock, correct them.
And so, you know, if I put $1 billion into a bank, and then I came back a year later and I put another $10 billion in the bank is not overvalued by a factor of 10. The bank is just 10 times bigger. People are using Bitcoin to store their monetary energy for the long term. And so the price is a reflection of the monetary energy in this bank in cyberspace.
Okay, I have no idea what she's about to say. I haven't seen this before. But her mind should be blown right now. Let's see what she comes back with.
Hey, Michael, I just wanted to go back to a question about your holdings of Bitcoin personally.
Oh, he skipped. Notice, guys, they skip right over everything he just said. And the reason for this is because these traditional stock people and traditional Wall Street investors and the guys that are on these shows, they can't comprehend it. They do not understand. It's like there's a knowledge barrier in between the new generation and people like Michael Saylor who are early adopters and understand, and this mindset of, you know, stocks. Like, that's all it boils down to. They just skip totally over what he just said and just go right to another question. Ridiculous.
And potentially the holdings of members of the board or executives in the management team. And the reason I raised...
Let me go back to this. These are the lies that these people are telling. They hear someone on their show that's a vocal figure that's making incredible points about what Bitcoin offers that other places do not offer, and they just skip over it. You know why? Because they don't want to highlight their death. This is the death of traditional finance. That's why they skip over all the good points. They try to make everything sound negative. They make him try to sound crazy. Elon Musk, all these people that are putting treasury, parts of their treasury as Bitcoin, they try to make him sound crazy.
I think there's a lot of companies now that are thinking about buying into Bitcoin, and yet there are employees and or board members who are either own Bitcoin already or buying in knowing perhaps that their company is going to buy Bitcoin. how you think about that from a legal perspective. Because
insider trading. Oh God, people know people are going to buy Bitcoin, so they buy it. Guess what? The whole world is starting to buy Bitcoin. Once again, just lined up the traditional way of seeing things. Do you know what regulation is? It's how to keep the haves, and the have-nots, the have-nots. That's what it's all about.
Historically, if one company was going to effectively buy another company, it would actually be considered either illegal insider trading or just a breach of the fiduciary duty, because effectively you'd be taking advantage of corporate information.
Okay, well, the first thing to note is that Bitcoin is property. It's not a security. And that's a very critical idea. Property means you can own a house or you can own land, and your company can also buy land. With regard to public companies, the key is to make sure that you have adequate disclosure of all your holdings that might be viewed as a conflict of interest. And so you can be sure that I went to great lengths to adequately disclose to every member of the board the exact extent of my Bitcoin holdings.
You know what's interesting, looking at the MicroStrategy stock, I mean, I don't have my finger on the pulse of the traditional stock market the same way I do a crypto, but it looks like, it took a pretty big dip when Bitcoin took a dip. So, it's something pretty interesting. I'd be interested to see the whole NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, what those numbers look like. But I'm just looking at the chart here, and that's what I'm thinking about. Because, I mean, obviously it's in the red.
Before we even started to deliberate this. You see, Bitcoin is the most widely held investment asset in the world right now. We have congressmen, we have senators, we have members of government, we have CEOs, we have 100 million individuals out there that have it. You're going to find that lots and lots of people have this property.
Pretty interesting. That's exactly what I said just a minute ago. Like, guess what? Everybody's buying it. And I do love this point about calling it, earlier we were talking about being an asset class, not a stock. It's also different from a regular investment because you own it. It's not a representation of something. That's what the stock market is. And, once again, all the derivatives and IOUs we talk about all the time.
I think that whenever you're running an institution, be it a charity, an endowment, a government institution, a corporation, the key is to make sure that you're very transparent in your holdings before you enter into deliberation that might impact that company.
Right. It's $1 trillion. So, I mean, there's stocks that are $1 trillion. So I'm trying to figure out what type of...
Not the same thing.
...of total market cap you'd need until you would...
Look at me. Watch Michael Saylor's eyes. Is this guy tweaked out or what? Watch this guy.
Right. It's $1 trillion. So, I mean, there's stocks that are $1 trillion. I'm trying to figure out what type of...
he's like, what? You see his eyebrows? He's like, huh? $1 trillion? Huh? Stocks? I already told you it's not the same thing.
Cap you'd need until you wouldn't ask that question anymore, Michael. I mean, people with gold, if a company decides it wants to put its treasuries in gold, I don't think they'd ask the CEO, oh, did you buy some, you're going to move the entire gold market, but it's a much bigger market. But I'm wondering if there's a number where you don't ask that question, where it becomes actually would you worry if you went out the yield curve on bonds, or if you went into corporates on your treasury? Would you have to make sure that
it's real dramatic with all the music in the background?
Buying corporates in the meantime, I don't know. What do you think the number is? At $1 trillion, you could still almost make the case you can move that.
There's a $500 trillion monetary planet, and the outer layer is currency. Then you've got stocks, bonds, real estate.
Now, what he says is actually incorrect. He says 500 trillion, but the 500 trillion number is literally not counting derivatives. So really and truly, the number is like 1.5 quadrillion, because it's 500 trillion in like what we know as like the real estate market and corporate markets and the gold supply and Bitcoin, corporate structure, stock markets, all that put into one. That is 500 billion approximately. And then there's another quadrillion of derivatives as well. So it's actually even bigger than he's saying it is.
There's $10 trillion worth of gold in there, 1 trillion in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is going to flip gold, and it's going to subsume the entire gold market cap. Then it's going to subsume negative yielding sovereign debt and other monetary indexes until it grows to $100 trillion. Once it gets to 10 trillion, its volatility will be dramatically less. And as it marches toward 100 trillion, you're going to see the growth rates fall, the volatility fall, and it's going to be a stabilizing influence in the entire financial system of the 21st century.
Wow. I got to say, I'm just so impressed with Michael Saylor. I mean, I give him a hard time sometimes because, he loves the brown-haired version of himself we see everywhere when he's clearly silver fox like I am. But he really hits this thing, nail on the head, or nails it on the head. He definitely understands Bitcoin. He definitely understands where everything is going. When he talks about a $100 trillion market cap, let me put that into perspective for you guys. If you basically were to multiply 19, or if you were to divide the market cap of 100 trillion by, let's just call it 19,000 Bitcoin, or let's just say almost 20,000 Bitcoin in the next 50 years or so, then you're looking at almost a $5 million Bitcoin. In fact, you would actually be looking at slightly above a $5 million Bitcoin. And, I just thought, as I was sitting here thinking about this, you guys know I love to do that. And gold's market cap is $10 trillion. In my opinion, Bitcoin is at least 10 times better than gold. I mean, there's so many reasons. We controlled it. We designed it. We didn't design gold. Bitcoin was designed to be the optimum form of money and value this, society, culture, civilization has ever seen. And so from that perspective, I can definitely see, the total value of Bitcoin getting maybe to that $100 trillion market cap down the road. It will certainly flip the gold market. There's no question about that. It can absorb the gold market as well. I think $20 trillion, I think is a pretty achievable number for Bitcoin in the next 10 years. 100 trillion, there would have to be some things that would happen to bring the derivatives market over, to Bitcoin. I think a lot of that is going to go to Ethereum, through Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Elrond, a lot of these projects. Even Cosmos and Tezos will probably play a role in that, and maybe some that we don't even know. But I do think that Bitcoin to $5 million with a $100 trillion market cap, it is possible, but I lean much more over to, I think $20 trillion is almost a slam dunk. I think a $1 million Bitcoin is a slam dunk on the next bull run. We're definitely going to see a bull cycle, another bear market. We're in a bull cycle now. We're going to see another bear market, and then we will see, what I believe to be another bull market in about 4 to 5 years. And, I think Bitcoin can get to $1 million on that run as long as it gets up above 6 figures on this run. So let me know what you guys think about Michael Saylor. Drop your comments down below. Listen, guys, let's get Michael Saylor on the show. I'm going to put a tweet together. Everybody go make sure you go like and retweet that. Let's get Michael Saylor to come on and talk Bitcoin. I want to chat with him. He's a pretty heady fellow. And I definitely want to pick his brain on some stuff. And I really wonder what it's like to kind of be up against the mainstream finance world all the time like he is. He is a trailblazer for sure. So drop those comments down below. That's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.